Miramar, Miramar, Miramar. How is it going to go down over the next 2 games of Miramar? That is the question these teams will be asking themselves, because Miramar doesn't have the same kind of consistency for some of these teams. It has a lot of that variety where teams say, oh man, we could have done a lot better on Miramar early on there. And I still find that weird. Like, Miramar's such a map where I felt like, I said this at the beginning of Phase 1, that teams weren't practicing it enough because it was lesser in the phase than what Erangel was played by, like a significant amount. But this time around, it still was opting to this just very wild variety and how it ends. Like we say about MOOPHEUS having Sanhok as being like a dominant area for them, but Miramar doesn't really have that.
There's no king of the desert so far. But this is the overall standings after 1 game, and would you look at that with the chicken dinner? PG18 creep up to 8th place in the standings, knocking a couple of these teams back, most notably Istanbul Wildcats for now.
Red Fox is just within it at the same time. Joker's trying to grab themselves some additional points up here. We've seen Northern Lights go over 200 now. And Tempest aren't too far away from that either. Miramar last time around became quite a... Obviously, it was something different, right, what we got to see from Miramar, because I feel for Miramar yesterday, with it being just the 1 game of it, I felt like teams just went in really fast, faster than we'd ever seen before. Because Erangel was explosive, good shots, but Sanhok and Miramar were like lightning. It was just like, did that game happen? Like, what? What's going on?
And it was just kind of like, even we had a point where it was kind of like something like 54 people left. But we still had a load of teams, but that was like, and they're like, wow, what the hell has been happening? And then it just continued on for the rest of the game. But that was then. This is now the playing trajectory very much on the east side of the map. So the likes of El Pozo, San Martin, La Cabrera, going to be hard to access, but every other place that is towards the east side, like Puerto Paradiso, where PG18 are heading, in Impala, very accessible for these teams.
Yeah, this is a fair enough way for most of these teams to go. It's where the circle pops will be the interesting thing that decides the fate of how this all might plan out. Los Leones does have enough room for 2 teams, and no tag team do choose to drop down and be close to the Jokers and fight this out. And it's a good place, right, in the end, because most teams are never going to rotate through Los Leones. Like, you've got to be a pretty madman to make that happen. The circle's generally fair as well. A tiny bit of water in. We're not going to get the island circles. I'm still dreaming that I'm one day going to get one of these island circles. It might happen.
We had one with, I think, Group A.
Damn, I missed it.
I know.
I had a Los Higos island circle before. That was good fun. But the problem with that was it was such a south circle that when everyone was rotating, I think that game probably could have been the quickest Miramar game I've ever casted, because there were just so many teams going across the bridge and just getting annihilated on rotation every time. Like, they had no other way in. It was like, well, we're dead, aren't we? What can we do? Because it hard shifted north, but still included that, and then hard shifted south twice, and just we got stuck on Los Higos. Sometimes just the way it goes. Like, literally, it's just you were watching all these teams in vehicles to try and get across the breach, and it was just like boom, boom, dead, boom, boom, dead, boom, and it went on for so long. It was brilliant. I love it when it gets chaotic like that. The teams don't like it for sure.
Of course. But we're sadistic, right? So we love that.
I'm all about the entertainment. I'm all about the madness. I want to see Clib blowing up a whole team on his own with 2 grenades and just firing off with the bolt action all day long.
Talking about him, like, you know, it's hard not to talk to him because right now he's as I said, joined first on the overall kill lead, but even this week he's lying on top, getting 27 kills for himself. That is a huge bunch of kills in the second week of Group B. He's looked very dominating, but also, like, the rest of his team have also been putting in the work, whether it's the positional, whether it's just as a team and that level of support. So he's not on his own, and that is part of the reason why Tempest have put in so many strong performances this week.
Now, we can see Desert's crouched and hidden behind that building. He would have heard the car pull up. Yannick, I don't think, has any idea of this. But I think Desert wanted to be hidden a bit more because he is slightly further away than the rest of his teammates around here, right? Yeah. He's literally surrounded by no tag team. The closest to him is Greg, and he's not going to get there anytime soon from the Puerto Paradiso side of things over towards the east.
And it's also kind of interesting that one member of Team Unique even went anywhere near Los Leones, right? Because if they've been looking at these teams and looking back on the VODs, they'll have realized that 2 teams already dropping Los Leones. What's the benefit, right? You're only going to potentially put yourself in a position of getting taken out and putting your team in a compromising position, especially in Miramar where a full squad is very advantageous.
Oh, that's just so easy for Dez out. Yannick thinks it's completely clear, doesn't check all his angles. That's going to be a nice, easy kill. And this is exactly what no tag team didn't want. Again, one of the teams that's trying to grind their way into top 8, they're not far away. But you cannot lose a player before the 5-minute mark. And there's no retaliation even going to be able to come in. And also, they have no idea if there's more unique players around there because it was just Dez out chilling on his own and you walk in front of him. So many factors that benefit them here.
I question why that was done, and you know what? I've just been kind of proven wrong in some regard. Fair play to Dez out. Took an opportunity, was able to get a kill for his side.
But what you were saying made perfect sense, right? Because Dez was further away. It could have gone... Imagine if there was 2 people in that car. He's unlikely to get both of them unless they lined up for him or something. It's just a situational thing for him. If you're going to talk about numbers, well, numbers and damage is coming up right now. Wow. Doubles going straight in. And ELGIGANTEN, they don't want this. Marcelek, this is 2 key teams. No tag team and ELGIG, both so close to trying to work their way into top 8, and they're losing players early on here. This is not what I expected at all. But sometimes that's just the way it goes down. And MOOPHEUS, again, getting aggressive, taking these fights. They're all over it. They want to get the job done. But going back to what we were saying there, Cormac.
Yeah.
Unique. Like, if we're going to tell people, oh, yeah, you should probably do it like that. No, I would never recommend it still because the best option is to stick together. Maybe slight split and drop. Some teams do like that. You've got to have great communication. But for Dez out to be on his own, it was a risk. A risk that somehow paid off. And that's where we end up with this now. As he's trying to escape. The Airstation Mike boys are taking shots at him, and I think there'll be more than just them taking shots at him. I think there's going to be multiple teams able to see him as he tries to get his way across the desert. He's trying to drive it up as much as possible. You can still see he is being tagged up quite heavily.
He does manage to get away for now. Nemerton, that muscle car, going to go into that compound. So 2 members of PG-18, and then another 2 members not too far away. But it's Istanbul Wildcats, Airstation Mike, you see it in front of you. A lot of these teams are clumped up in the center of the circle for now. Even though it's quite wide and it's quite big, it's only phase 1. Still, we're seeing these shots pop off. We know that these teams and the players, they love to just fire off, not just to hopefully get those knockdowns, but you're pushing that team away, right? You're creating a much bigger space around you and the rest of your team, so there's no potential compound breaches. There's no real kind of pressure that you can hold your space for yourself.
Now, I'm really interested where no tag team are going to go. They're down in the south at the moment. They don't want to go through Los Leones. So if they go around Puerto Paraíso, they might end up being the sneaky team that gets behind Unique. And Unique are probably going to think, look, circle's coming in. We should be clear. We've seen what's been around us. So slight moment that could happen there at any point. We've got a 2-2 split going on at the moment from Northern Lights. But okay, bro, ideally would want to join up with Perfectix.
Yeah.
ELGIGANTEN, we've already seen them lose 1 member, which is certainly not what they would have wanted at all going into this one. But I think that now they need to step it up a notch individually to be able to at least fight back. They cannot be going out with a low amount of points like they had in the first game here. That would, to me, would almost solidify that you guys are going to struggle to make it unless we see 2 wins come out on the final Miramar and the Sanok game.
You're dead right. When you look at their kind of stats, they're 46 placement points and 114 kill points. We know they can frag out.
Yep.
We know they can be aggressive, but you've got to match it with placements. You've got to match it with those overall positional results. And when they're not doing that, this is where we see a team like that struggle to get into the top 8 in this kind of situation. But Red Foxes, they were a team that kind of lost out. One of the teams that lost out quite heavily. They are not out of the top 8, but game 1, 0 points. They cannot afford to repeat that in this game and, of course, the next 2 games that we will have.
Now, MOOPHEUS, we see him get that kill early on. That was on to the fallen ELGIGANTEN member. Looking for some more here, and they've spotted out the huge potential, boys. But again, as always, especially on Miramar, open areas, you make yourself vulnerable if you are continuously shooting out and being heard. You could be rolled up on at any point, especially in MOOPHEUS' position. They're generally quite center. There's multiple teams around them. Tempest at the moment, though, they're occupying Graveyard, and they can actually put themselves in a really nice spot. They're dead center at the moment, but many teams aren't going to try and challenge for that position. They know that's one that's a hot spot for teams to be within, and trying to break into it is not really ideal. But Reggie, he's going to break something else. It's going to call E-Hot's helmet. Whichever one he had is now going to rip clean off with that headshot.
Love Reggie Burrow. Nearly all of his bolt action shots connect. He's so good with that bolt action.
Do you know what I'd love? A stat that actually gives us percentage of shots, accuracy, right, to how many they get.
That would be great.
Maybe we can find that. I'm going to have to see. We're going to have to dig into the developer mode when it comes down to PUBG, because that's the beauty of what we have here with PUBG. We can go into the APIs, right, and dig information like this out. So
Yeah.
we'll have to dig a bit further. That would be quite an interesting stat, especially on the bolts, because where it is often with the bolts, the one shot, it has to be one shot, one hit, right? And if you're doing that, we talk about like Clear and players like Maxazor. These are ones that constantly land great headshots and 6 shots, but actually just being able to hit the shots, even if they're not headshots, and being more accurate can be quite vital for your team, because if you get the big damage done to start off with, they can come in and get the knock and the finish off.
Yeah, and also it means that you're not actually peeking as much, right? So you only peek once, essentially, get that shot off, and you don't have to peek again, kind of thing. But then again, it's also a high risk, high reward with the bolt action, because you don't get that level of sprays you do with, with the Mini 14. But man, Wonder gets taken out. No tag team getting a point for their side and taking a man away from PG-18.
PG-18 like, no, we just got into top 8. Not like this. Don't lose someone else this early. They do have plenty of players still up and running, though, 3 to be exact.
Well, we've seen this before from PG-18, to be honest, where they'll get a great result. They get a chicken dinner, and then the next game, they'll get 0 points, and that's what I talked about. That's what I feared about them, right? It's the reason why 5 of their games have been 0-point games. But KnorkiS of ELGIGANTEN, he's in that compound. GRISHKAPOWER and Blast on there, a little bit separated, but they also have a nice bit of a split kind of position that they can take advantage of if they do make it work. But standing, returning and getting fire and taking down Medabay from Red Foxes.
Now, Jokers, they had a good game coming into the first one. 6 kills in a second place.
Yeah.
They're in a good spot regardless, but they're going to look to continue that as much as possible. They don't want to take any risks. They're not out of the woods just yet. Oh, now Gig again. They've lost ghostar now. Can they save him? Can they bring him back up? Or is he just going to go down like this fallen teammate as well? And that'll leave Elgig with only 2 players. 4 Kings are actually rolling straight on top of him. Yeah, this is...
Oh, wait, no.
Oh, it turns around.
Okay,
KnorkiS gets it done. Okay, we're down. There's a fight. It can still be had. Morpheus is bringing up ghostar. Blaston's in the house and running around. You said about them being split up. Manny's playing the fast scout game again. Now he's looking to get closer. Blaston, does he want to fight up into this? They're going to group up with each other. Higgy's miles away as well. So, no, yeah, get the hell out of there. Just don't risk it. It's not worth it. Wait for Higgy to get with you if you want to try and take them on. Especially now the revives come in as well. And also, Elgig going to be on super high alert now.
Yeah, they will be. But because they are quite center in the circle, they don't have to move. They just have to be on high alert. But Tempest and Airstation Mike. One thing I also want to point out from Tempest as well is that not only have they climbed up the 3rd, but they're only 6 points away from Northern Knights in 2nd place. They could end Group E in 2nd place after starting Group B with 2 points at the end of day 1 and being in 13th place at the end of week 1. That is a huge turnaround.
And that's a huge kill for Nemaruff to pick up as well if he can finish it off. And he's been knocked down from Tempest. PG-18, they made that rotation up north, and they've now found themselves fighting against him. Can they get any additional damage done here? They're playing the long-range game, so it might be a bit harder to actually get the finish.
Oh, you got spotted out, Jazza. Jazza's pinched by 2 members of Huge Potential. You got caught out, buddy. You were in that vehicle. Didn't work.
Such a good crossfire in that 2-2 split. All these teams running across the road are just going to be lit up by the Huge Potential boys. And even Kofash, you can see it now, just being sprayed at as he tries to... He's like, nope, I'm U-turning. Get me the hell out of here. Not like this.
And also, when you think about it, oh, wait, okay. In the picture-in-picture, we see Tempest knocking things off against Airstation Mike. Not only Tempest, but Jokers as well. So Airstation Mike suddenly find themselves... What the hell is going on? 2 teams have rolled up on us, and it's because that circle shifted up north, so those teams are on the edge trying to fight to hold on to it.
Clib has to be very careful here. He's more out in the open on his own. His teammates won't be able to directly back him up if he's going into this. He's got the nade ready, pinned in his hand, cooks it a little bit, throws it forward. Really good position. Hugstar now on the floor. This gives Clib a great chance, and he's just looking for the straight elimination. Another nade barrels out. Oh, the tree and the rocks are saving Hugstar's life. Little by little, Clib decides to move further forward, but he does have to be careful. Jazza is not far away, and he's waiting for it, but Clib, he's too smart for this. He's not going to allow it to happen. Molly goes out. He wants to move Java out into the open, and Jazza is just going to be ripped apart once again. Airstation Mike taking a 16th place, and Tempest Clib plays that oh so well.
And then the other two members of Tempest have turned on to PG-18. So they're just battling two squads as if it's nobody's business, as if it's just a normal day in the office. But we also see BetterLuckNxTime kicking things off against Jokers. And like I said, this is on the edge of the circle. It's on the south side. All these teams looking to move in. We're getting these kind of squad fights on the edge of the circle. Working out. Is the grenade going to connect? It didn't quite.
Yeah, damage not done. D's got himself in the building just in the nick of time. PG-18 does not want to fight a full four-man squad of Tempest. Yes, you've got an advantage. You've got the compound, and they'll have to work their way up into it. But being this outnumbered and knowing how Tempest can play these angles, you'd be very scared going up against them. And they've got Wookie coming out from behind, and he's going to have the bolt action ready for it as well.
Side note, another game that Airstation Mike have actually been eliminated kind of in the first 6 or 7 places, so it's been a bit of more of a struggle of a week 2 Group B. But one thing that we talk about and one thing that we have to think about, which is very viable, is are Airstation Mike kind of holding back in week 2? Are they kind of just saving strategies, or are they trying different things, different rotations, and putting themselves in positions that they normally wouldn't to try to prepare better for the finals? It is something viable. Not a lot of teams do it because they just tend to take game by game. But when you kind of pretty much held onto that top spot, is it something a team will look to do? It's possible.
Certainly is, but only time will tell. As the circle stays central, but goes all the way over towards the east. Brute Force going to have to work their way down, and the Wildcats as well. Northern Lights and the Wildcats could be meeting each other very shortly on this one. Tempest are going to have to work out where BetterLuckNxTime and Jokers are going to go.
And one thing that kind of we saw initially, Red Foxes and Team Unique were both in Al-Azhar, and Team Unique actually rotated from the north, and they're still a 4-man team. Red Foxes, they rotated more directly into the circle, and they've paid the price, and that's where kind of better rotations can pay off much more viably for these teams, and it just didn't work out for the majority of Red Foxes. Double
manages to steal another one away though. Loops. Playing it smart, playing it well. You're going to knock someone? Don't worry, I'll take shots at them as well. From the safety of my compound, where you're probably not going to be able to take me down. It's the kills he's stealing away that could just play such a huge part in how all of these last few games go down. Can't stress enough, guys, this is the end of Group B. 8 teams are eliminated as of today, and the other 8 teams move forward into the playoffs. Jokers might not be moving forward for long, though, because it looked like Tempest were ready on the rocks to do some damage. They sprayed at the cars, but they couldn't get anything to blow up just yet, and neither are even smoking so far. Can Jokers and the Tab manage to escape here? They're trying to reposition themselves just as this car starts to be smoking up.
Still only 18 points divide, 6th place and 10th place. Istanbul Wildcats, what the hell happened there, Banks?
Poor driving skills, mate. Poor driving skills.
Feels bad, man.
Sometimes that's just the way it goes. Vehicles are so key, but they can also be your worst enemy at times. And AmerouuS, he's going to say his worst enemy is MOORPHEUS, because instantly he gets finished off. The BF boys are burning each other at the same time, so this is less than ideal. That obviously was one that cooked while he was being killed, and sometimes that's what happens, right? We see it with nades many times, but the molly, they can also be dangerous as well. Burn, baby, burn it is.
Burn, baby, burn. Disco Infernos. BetterLuckNxTime and Northern Lights go at each other. The grenades being flying out in both directions, but Northern Lights, they have to be aware, because I think MJ-Esports are also popping shots off in their direction that are inside the circle, and that's it. Perfectus gets knocked down by Ojala.
Yeah, they don't want to stand around here for too much longer. Nades going out really far. Good shot, good attempt, sorry, by the deep. And, well, he will get Kissick to start off with. The second one falls a bit short. Will provide him enough cover, but the deep, he's not done yet. More nades in his hand, and he's looking for these kills. You see nades going back out there. It's going to tell him where Artix is at the same time. And Kissick, he's just trying to stay alive, but Northern Lights know they don't want to have that taken away from him. In the meantime, we're going to see Jokers be eliminated in 15th. It's Tempest getting the damage done, but Wookie finds himself getting knocked down in return. They should be able to bring him back up. While Artix, he doesn't know where to look or where to turn. He was too focused on the other 2 players of Northern Lights, and this 2-2 split is working out for them.
Wow, unique pinch on the edge of circle. Gets taken out. 4Kings still trying to hold on, but the play zone is doing that huge damage. ToWzErA, you saw they actually got that knockdown onto the member of Tempest, and now the two of them are going in to be aggressive. Will it work? Hani gets taken out by MJ-Esports. Tempest get eliminated. It was just too much on the south side of the circle. As BetterLuckNxTime and Northern Lights are still going at each other.
They are not giving up. Fate, he has faith in himself, but it's not going to be enough. Northern Lights, they do manage to finish him off, but it was a long battle, and they were very pressured by the circle, and soon enough, it's going to be pressure once again. They've got to get OK Bro and Spiro healed back up and ready to run the head out of it. Now, we can see a vehicle, but it's on fire. Is it worth the risk taking it? Probably not, but only time will tell. Northern Lights have a big decision to make here.
Only 16 seconds until this blue zone starts closing in. They are on the smaller part of it down the south, so they will be able to find their chance to move in. I think ToWzErA are more focusing on the teams moving in from the northern side of the circle, so maybe they're not paying too much attention to Northern Lights. There's also PGAD down to the southeast as Istanbul Wildcats are trying to kick things off. MJ going in. Istanbul Wildcats get eliminated just like that. Jazza was knocked down, and that's what I was talking about. ToWzErA, they are turning their attention onto that fight, driving forward across the road to try and take them down. We've seen another squad elimination come through, and the team's just getting closer.
I love that from MOOPHEUS. Wildcat, who's all in his own, he did all the damage, but then a few well-placed nades from MOOPHEUS, sees more damage be done, more knocks come in. Mini's trying to reply here. Will he be able to get the finish off? No, he won't. There's a good defense coming out here. Double is landing the shots once again. He's putting himself more kills on the board here, and the MOOPHEUS are currently at 5. 9 teams left, 21 players up in it, and the MOOPHEUS are playing this really smart team game.
Even though it feels like they have more than 5 kills, right? Because they've constantly been active. Even though they hold on to his compound, they've moved away from it to try to get those shots off, to get those kills. They've gotten a couple of knockdowns, but sometimes it hasn't worked out for them. But now, as I said, it's given Northern Lights a chance to get into the circle. They're getting quite close. Spire, okay, bro, Deep, what can you do? Can you spread yourselves out quite enough to hide behind and get the angles onto ToWzErA? But they are in the compound.
Yeah, the compound's going to benefit MOOPHEUS here.
Yep.
Northern Lights, do they really want to challenge this? They've got many other places to go. Nice spray coming in here from KnorkiS. MJ-E, once again, they can't catch a break. They're trying to focus on the MOOPHEUS, and then from the side comes KnorkiS, and the rest of ELGIGANTEN are also going to be there as well. Junu, so low on health, does go out, managed to make it work, and now Stratos is the only one left.
Yep. MJ eliminated in 9th place. Now we have 8 teams. ghostar did actually get a bit of friendly fire, unfortunately, and will kind of pay the price because no tag team are also from the edge of the circle on the east side, popping shots off in the direction of ELGIGANTEN, who are outside the circle. It did shift down on phase 6, down to the south. The compound that ToWzErA hold on to is the only compound, other than the one that Dies is in, that is inside circle.
And MOOPHEUS, they can see everything from this position. As soon as teams start to move in, they'll go onto flatter land here.
Yep.
D's completely on his own in the shack, just hoping for additional placement points. He knows this all counts for PG-18.
Exactly.
He won't be making a single bit of noise. He's going to wait for all these fights to go on, engage when he thinks it's needed, or if maybe someone tries to take the shack away from him. Oh, dear, Zolters. That was a clean one. Nicely done. He's going to push on it as well. Nail up the top. What does he plan to do? A nade comes out from him. Smokes are down, but it's not covering O'Connell just yet. Nail has to be very careful here because it's all well and good trying to fight this off, but you are hugely outnumbered, and O'Connell is on the floor. Zolters side swipes him. Spray comes in, and that's an easy pickup for sure. The kill's no problem at all, and Zolters finds himself 2-1s for basically free. After landing that sick headshot, there was no real chance for Nail.
I was going to say Give It is going to try and get away, but with ToWzErA putting pressure on to Give It, will he be able to survive? Not just Not just Team MOOPHEUS, but also Northern Lights. It won't pay off. We also saw Brute Force getting taken out in 8th place. And that's going to be no team down in 7th place.
And this again is working out for PGA Team with just one player alive.
Yep.
ELGIG and PGA Team, the guys that need the points most out of all these teams. Red Fox is going to go down, but this time a 6th place. A lot better than what we saw from them earlier.
5 teams. We have 3. Yeah,
These are
3-man
shooting.
strong Team MOOPHEUS. We also have a full huge potential and a 3-man Northern Lights. But with OK Bro knocked down, will the revive come through? I don't think it will, because the shots are just continuing to be fired. No, it won't indeed, and Double does secure that kill.
I'd love to know how many Double has killed when they're knocked down. He's been on point and finding these guys crawling around. But interestingly enough, Deez is shooting from his shack, right? So he's gone from the way of just hiding and not doing anything for now to say, wait a second, you don't know how many of me's in here. You don't know how many people could be left on my team. So I'm going to shoot as much as possible and try and keep you at bay, because huge potential, we're looking down there. And look at them now, they're fully focused on ELGIG.
And huge potential, they have to hold on to this high ground position, right? They have to hope that the circle goes in their favor on phase 7. If it doesn't, they're going to have a tough job getting down that hill, even as a 4-man team. I'm interested. Do they have a lot of smokes? Do they have a lot of utility to use? Seems like they haven't been in a lot of action up until the last couple of minutes. Damn it, that shift still keeps Team MOOPHEUS compound just on the edge of circle. And what are huge potential going to do?
Deez is sat there praying and saying, thank you, PUBG gods. I knew you would be kind to me. I need all these points for my team to hang in there for this top 8, and I will sit here for as long as possible.
I think we're now going to have a tiny bit of a kind of a quiet period at least in the next 20 seconds, other than the shots being popped off. ELGIGANTEN are doing everything they can. Their truck up, blown up. They can't really move. The smoke wall is now being thrown out by Morpheus, all while he's doing his best to not take damage as well, because Team MOOPHEUS, all 3 members are pretty much firing in their direction.
He's actually able to get the knock onto Zoltas here.
Yeah.
Still from the shack, able to do it, but does he overextend at any point? He needs to be a bit cautious still. E-Hop taking a few shots at the ELGIG players. They're trying to make it through the smoke. No connections coming in just yet, but if all of you potential try that, it might be incredibly difficult for ELGIG to get across. Utility still being used. It's being thrown out from a distance. ghostar cannot afford to take the damage here. They're being sprayed through, and once again, Double. He's stepping up to the plate. 6 kills now, and he's just taking down another team with him.
And I have no doubt that he can add to that, because with 7 opponents left alive, they will look for it. They will look for more kills, look for more shots off in any man's direction as a huge potential team. They've been able to kind of take advantage of Team MOOPHEUS, focus on ELGIGANTEN to move closer to the edge of circle down the hill. There's still guys. We saw him knock down 1 member of huge potential, so they know that there's at least 1 person in that shack. The good thing for Hawk is that he can use that loot crate just to kind of stay in circle and in a good position.
And he gets himself some weaponry to use, gets himself hopefully some level 3 gear in there as well.
Yes.
I'm not sure if that was a new crate or not, but he seems to be able to have looted from it regardless. D's still hiding up in the shack. His shack is still fine within this current circle. He's trying to play the long game. Currently made top 4, but he's hoping someone else will go down soon. And once again, D stays in it, so that shack's becoming vital. Double is also still in it if he wants to be. But MOOPHEUS now, considering they've got the numbers, they've got a good chance in this, they might want to start pushing out. And Hawkeye, well, he's going to start things off with a knock onto E-Hot. And the other huge potential players, they're not close enough to even try and get involved and save him. Shots continue to come out, and D's, he gets headshotted this time around. GR Hawk getting the job done, and PGA Team will still walk away with a 4th.
Credit where credit is due. 4th finish. Going to add to those points. Will not be too bad, but now it is Hawk looking to fire towards.
Still.
Wow, Northern Lights, and does confirm a knockdown onto D. Will
MOOPHEUS are
Spyro
playing
just
so
forget
well.
about it? Yeah, he's going to have to forget about it.
Even when Double's not popping off, we're seeing Hawkeye do the damage. Now he's pushing out. Double's very confident. He's got 6 kills already, but has he got overconfident here? A lot of damage being done towards him, and Hawkeye can't provide the cover fire he needs. He finds himself on the floor, and now he just needs to crawl away as much as possible if he can try and avoid this. There is no fire coming in from return on his teammates. Double will go down, and that's a huge loss here for MOOPHEUS. Maybe overextending that a little bit too much.
I think he did overextend a little bit too much because without that real cover fire that I felt Kate Dorn and Hawk were able to pull out, Double was just exposed a bit too much trying to cross that road. Huge Potential took advantage of that, but still 3 teams. You still have Spire on the edge of that kind of southwest side of the circle. You have still a 3-man strong Huge Potential team against a 2-man team MOOPHEUS.
Northern Light Spirit, he spotted out Ghostar in there. Goes in for the headshots, but gets a headshot back from Huge Potential.
Wow.
The timing. Spiro thought he had the shot lined up and it was stolen away from him. He hates to see it. GR Hawk still looking as well. And this is where it gets crazy because now we're going to center up. We're going dead center. And currently, MOOPHEUS, they had the advantage, but then they lost one player. Huge Potential have the opportunity, but they don't want to cross that road just yet. And Spiro, the only player left alive for Northern Lights, he finally goes down.
Now it's going to be 3 against 2. The smoke grenades are going to be thrown out by Team MOOPHEUS to try and create that wall, try and create that level of protection. The good thing for Huge Potential is if they do cross that road, they do have the dip of the hill, but it's not going to pay off. They don't need to worry about it because they get that chicken dinner.
10 kills in the first place, a 20-point game for Huge Potential. They will take that when it is desperately needed here. But the question is, how does that affect the other teams that were within it? Because we had Northern Light still there close at the end, obviously very high up at the moment anyway. We had once again PG-18, that solo player, Deez, was able to hold on and try and make the magic happen there. And he was even still taking shots at him.
Crazy, crazy. On one hand, I'm super happy for Huge Potential because that was their first chicken dinner of Phase 3. So it's kind of like, you know, they know they can get done, but I'm also a little bit sad for Team MOOPHEUS because all their chicken dinners outside that they've had so far has come in Sandhawk.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like I want to see it come out in Miramar, just say, hey, look, we're not a one-trick pony, so to speak. We're not just dominant on Sandhawk. We can get the job done on other maps, although even though they can get the chicken dinner, the amount of kills, Double popping off, Hawk popping off. If it's not one member of Team MOOPHEUS, it's another member just working so fluidly as a team to shut down everybody around them. As I said, even though they had that compound where we would see other teams not directly camp it out, but they wouldn't move away from it and they'd kind of peek and shoot from inside the compound. Team MOOPHEUS, they would actively go out of the compound, take shots, get a knockdown, maybe get a kill, and then move back into the compound. It was so well played for them, and they were active throughout it all.
Interestingly enough, when we're looking down all these kills that are coming in, so many teams, even within the top 8, got 0 kills. Brute Force, 8 for 0 kills. Red Fox is 6 0 kills. PG-18, 4th 0 kills.
Wow.
That is crazy. But then we come to MOOPHEUS, who got 10 kills. Huge Potential got 10 kills. ELGIGANTEN got a 5th place and 8 kills. Very good disparity in terms of who was getting the kills and who was getting the placement points here. But that just shakes this up even more. And we've only got 2 more games to go. 1 more Miramar, 1 more Sanhok. And these teams, they are not giving up yet. Big adjustment since yesterday, though. It's definitely slowed down a fair amount.
And in some way, I did kind of expect that, right? Because their teams are so close, so it's kind of like every point counts. But for Red Foxes, once again, to only get 1 point when in the first game of Wrangle, they went out with 0 points. It's like maybe they're just cracking under the pressure. It's kind of, we just can't deal with it. We saw in week 1, they started off strong, but they dropped down. They started week 2, they got strong, went back up on the table, but now as we're getting to the end of the week, they're falling off.
And that's what you can't have happen. This is the last day. This is the vital moments for a lot of these teams and players to try and keep their contenders' life ahead. And GR Hawk, nice spray there. Really on the money with that one. Good recoil control throughout. Again, Hawkey impressed me, but in general, just what MOOPHEUS were able to do impressed me overall because they held on to these positions for so long, but they made sure they stayed active. And like you said, there was a great potential for them to get a win in there.
So as we see, only Simple Wildcats coming in last with 0 kills. Airstation Mike getting... Look, you know what? They still got a kill, right? You know, they still got a point.
They weren't going down without a fight, right? This is Airstation Mike we're talking about.
But this is a Huge Potential. 10 kills, 10 points, 20 in total. Team MOOPHEUS with 10 kills, 6 placement points, 16 in total.
Tempest went out in 13th place and still got 6 kills. They were like, do you know what? We will die, but we'll still fight everyone while going down. Why not? We'll just take... That's ridiculous.
Oh, man.
I honestly thought, like, maybe Tempest just going to have a bad day today. Like, they're through. They've got over 200 points, no problem. Still going to rack up 6 kills with a 13th place. It's not very often that you see such a early exit with that many kills.
You're dead right there, but look at this double. 800 damage. We were expecting it, right? He was just constantly on the fire line, and he followed that up with 6 kills for himself alone. Followed by Elrain from Huge Potential getting 4, and ghostar from ELGIGANTEN getting 4 also.
Huge Potential going head-to-head, and the damage is almost identical.
Wow.
Literally not much separating. Whichever way this went, right, it'd just be a swap around, because they both got 10 kills, so it didn't matter. It could have been either way.
And you know, when we saw kind of the circles kind of shift and it went away from Huge Potential, I said it was going to be tough for them to get down the hill because it was in the open.
Yeah.
There wasn't that much protection. What they had on their side was Team MOOPHEUS were kind of focusing on both ELGIGANTEN and Northern Lights. They let Team Huge Potential move into the circle. All Huge Potential had to really worry about was dies of PG-18, took them down, carried on from there.
And that was it, right? Dealing with dies in the shack. That was the key moment for them to move forward. They take a win, but we are not done yet. 2 more games here for Group B. We're going to Miramar once again. One final time for this Group B, and then it'll be finally ending on Sanhok. Don't go anywhere, and if you're a fan of what you just saw from either of those 2 teams, make sure you spam their logos in this chat because, my God, all of these teams are going to need your support going into these last couple of games. We'll see you in a sec.